Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. In this video, we'll discuss the second problem of Leetcode BiWeekly contest 84. It's a medium level problem. The problem name is count number of bad pairs. So the problem statement says that you are given a zero indexed integer array nums. A pair of indices I comma j is a bad pair if I is less than j and j minus I is not equals to nums of j minus nums of I. Return the total number of bad pairs. Okay, a lot of stuff told in the question. We will see it mathematically what it says. Okay, the constraints are the length of the array can go up to 10 raised to the power 5 and each number can be 10 raised to the power 9. So directly let's jump to what problem is saying. So the problem says that a bad pair is basically the definition of a bad pair is that if I is less than j, so if j minus I is not equal to nums of j minus nums of I, then it's a bad pair, right? Let's try to modify this equation, right? Let's bring nums of j to the left side, so it becomes j minus nums of j, right, is not equal to let's take this I to the right side, so it will become I minus nums of I, right? Now we have a modified equation, and this is a simpler one. So you go to a particular index and check this condition, right? If j minus nums of j is not equal to I minus nums of I, right? If this equation is satisfied, or I would say if this equation is true, then it's a bad pair, right? Now let's come, this was the first point to be discussed in the question. The second thing, so this is the definition of a bad pair, right? Now what actually is a good pair? So or rather, let's come to the condition that what are the total number of pairs that we have, right? What are the total number of pairs? So what we can do, if we have certain numbers like 1, 2, 3, so this can make 2 pairs, 1 can make 2 pairs, 2 can make 1 pair. So that means for n numbers we can have n into n plus 1 by 2 pairs, right? This is the number of pairs that we can have. Forget about bad or good, but these are the total number of pairs. Now calculating the good pairs is easy. How we can calculate the good pairs? Here we have not equal to, right? Let's make it equal to. If the equation becomes this, j minus nums of j equals I minus nums of I. If this equation is true, that means it's a good pair, right? So what we can do, we can go in the reverse direction. These are the total number of pairs. Calculating good pairs is easy, right? Calculating good pairs is easy because you go at a particular index and you check whether that is satisfied or not. Obviously you can keep a map for that to count a frequency, and then what we can do, we can do total minus good, that comes out to be bad pairs, right? Simple stuff. So there are certain type of questions where we go into the opposite direction. How you judge that is by practice and also seeing that which one is easy to calculate. This is what question is asking, this is what we can calculate easily, and after we calculate it easily, we can do total minus good, and finally we get this value, right? So this is a relatively easy approach, right? Let's come to the solution in just a second. Yeah, so what I've done, I've calculated the size of the array. On line number 4, I've calculated what are the total number of pairs that we can have, that is n into n plus 1 by 2. I've taken a map, and now why I have taken a map? So the current difference, what we have done here, we saw in the equation that we go at a particular index I and calculate I minus nums of I. So we have seen what is the current difference. Now if in our map, do we have that current difference or not? Sorry for this. So we check whether we have the current difference or not. If irrespective of whether we have it or not, we increment the count. That what is the difference of I minus nums of I, right? Because we are trying to group the numbers, right? For every index I, if I minus nums of I is equal, then all those numbers can basically form good pairs. And once we know the number of good pairs, we can subtract it and get to know the bad pairs, right? So for calculating good pairs, we are doing it. So we are making a collection. So that for I minus nums of I, how many numbers have the same value? So here that particular value is current diff. So we do we increment the count for current diff. Again, I have used a default function provided by Java, map.get or default. So this is a simpler one to use, that if that value is present, return the value, or else if it is not present, return the default value, in this case 0, and then increment the count, directly put it into the map. Now what we are doing, answer minus, answer is right now total number of pairs, minus equals to long of map.get current diff. Now this is a tricky part. Why? We need to find the total number of pairs, right? So just see, suppose our map has, so if our map has 3 values, that means I minus nums of I has a value of, suppose, x. In this case, let's assume 3. So how many pairs, how many values of I satisfy this condition? Suppose there are 3 values. There are 3 values. Let's assume 1, 2 and 3. These 3 indices satisfy this value. So what you do, you calculate how many pairs you have, right? How many pairs you have. So how many pairs you have here? So it can be 1, 2, 3. So you can do all this stuff. So that is why what we are doing. Answer minus long of map.get of current diff. That what is the current value, and then we basically subtract that value from the good pairs, and we are good to go. Finally, we return the final answer. That is answer variable, right? So yeah, this one was a different question going the other way around. So I hope you learned something new from this video. Please do support it by giving up a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, in case of any queries, please do mention that into the comments. I'll try to revert on each one of them. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.